Hey, Andrew James here, and I have a question for you. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, and we're going to go deep, but the question is AI making you money? Now, there's a lot to say about this topic in general, and let's just get right into it. I think the reality, I've got another video for a challenge we're doing, is everybody's got somebody tinkering with it. By this point, if you're watching something like this, you've probably played with ChatGPT, maybe you have it writing stuff for you, maybe you've optimized or automated a process. But when I talk to chief revenue officers and CRO firms, RevOps firms, people that get in the weeds of automating things with CRMs and stuff like that, they open the AI conversation and it usually goes something like, well, yeah, we're working on it, we're trying it, we've automated a couple things, it saved me some time here and there, but we don't really have it cracked yet. And so it made me want to make this presentation about something new that I'm calling a profit prompt. First, let's go into some stats and just a couple things in here. So I used AI and pulled these out of Business Insider. So far, Alphabet has a $75 billion planned AI-related infrastructure investment. Amazon's over $100 billion. Meta increased CapEx by 64 to 72 billion in 2025. And I think that stat is before they started offering people $100 million as a salary to work for them. Microsoft, 80 billion, Apple, 500 billion over 4 years, targeting AI manufacturing and silicon R&D in the US. So that's them. Then there is this video that I think would actually be helpful for just about everybody to watch. Let's take a look.
The people and the person that invented refrigeration made some money, but most of the money was made by Coca-Cola, who used refrigeration to build an empire. And I view these large language models as refrigeration. Will there be some money made in it? I think so. But the Coca-Cola has yet to be built. And those are the companies that are really going to monetize it. And in order to monetize it well, here's a basic thing about machine learning that's worth knowing, which is if you take 1,000 of the same inputs and give it to Facebook and Microsoft and Google and Amazon, they'll all come up with the same machine learning model. But if you have one extra thing, one little ingredient that all of those other companies don't have, your output can be markedly different. It's like giving two great chefs 3 ingredients, but you give the third chef 1 extra one. That person has the ability to do something very special.
So that's one, that's Chamath. AI is the fridge. Here's another one. This is coming from Axios, saying AI could save firms nearly $1 trillion. This is a study, save US companies up to $920 billion annually, highlighting tremendous economic upside that justifies the current investment levels. And then here's one more. This is kind of crazy.
Elon said he thinks that every cognitive task that can be done by a human will be able to be done by an AI within 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
If you believe that to be true, the value of all that human labor that you're replacing is measured in trillions.
And lastly, we can't leave out the president. No matter what you think, this is the governmental sentiment.
Mastered the industrial age, we created the digital age, and now we are leading the world into the golden age, indeed, the golden age of America. With your help, that golden age will be built by American workers. It will be powered by American energy. It will be run on American technology, improved by American artificial intelligence, and it will make America richer, stronger, greater, freer, and more powerful than ever before. And I will now do my share by going and signing a name without an auto pen. I will sign it.
Okay, so that's enough there. So my point is not to agree or disagree with anyone. It's just to kind of set the tone for the game on the field here. Actually, my real point is, like, if all that spend is going into it, if all those famous and powerful people and companies and organizations are betting on it, we all are, in a sense, going to be forced in some way to make our bet. And I think I would rather take control in my own hands sooner and ride the wave on the one hand, and on the other hand, get ahead of any things that could be forced on me, because I think you have a clear choice. The big money is betting on it, and you can kind of choose to either make money on it now while they're funding the costs, or get left behind in some way. Something I've said a lot is, we work with some industries where they're excited because they're like, hey, AI can't really disrupt us, at least not anytime soon. Think a plumber or HVAC technician. Well, that's true. But if your competitor who's in the same industry uses it to their advantage, your competitor can totally use it to beat you at that game that AI is not directly going to affect. And there's probably a lot more examples. I don't think, though, the point is to get stuck in the details of whether or not this is going to be a thing, what kind of a thing it's going to be, who's going to win or lose. I think the purpose of an entrepreneur right now is to just win and to say, hey, how do I make it work? And so I created a concept called a profit prompt. And that's hopefully why you're watching this video. So what is a profit prompt? Well, it has 3 key ingredients. First of all, it's recurring. It's something you can run on a regular basis. Imagine you type this in, or someone on your team types this into AI every single week, every single day, maybe multiple times a day, and then we can imagine futures with automation and agentic action after that. But it is something that can be done on a regular basis. It gets done recurring. It's based on changing data from your business, and that's the real key. It's your actual business data. Think something in your CRM, in your ads, in your merchant account, in your inventory data, in your logistics data, something in your data set that's regularly updating. Because the nature of work is we go to work, we go to meetings, we look at dashboards, we look at information, whether that information is right in front of our eyes or through a dashboard or a screen or some sort of report that's given to us, and we make decisions based on data that gets updated and gets changed. And then we make decisions, we take actions. And so then that's the third ingredient, is you have changing actions and reactions, things that you can do as a result of that changing data. Ads are a really simple example. How's this thing performing? Cut the losers, scale the winners, those kinds of things. So that's a profit prompt. It's a prompt you can run on a regular basis based on changing data, and you can take an updated changing action or reaction to it. And to put this together and make it more clear, I kind of figured out a 2x2 matrix. There's only 4 types of profit prompts. So here they are. You have really only 2 ways to grow profits. This is kind of undeniable in business. We can increase our revenue, or we can decrease cost. Nobody's going to argue about that. And then the other dimensions I put it on is new customers and new leads, or existing. So it kind of breaks into these 4 categories. Get me more revenue from my new customers, or get me more revenue from my existing customers. Help me decrease costs with my new customers. Help me decrease costs with my existing customers. What's really cool about this, though, is this creates something I call a profit prompt flywheel. It's not like what you're going to do is say, okay, let me find the thing to type in every week and make money from it, whatever. But you're going to actually create a flywheel. So if I get out my pen here and I draw a couple things, let's say we help you, or we'll just go back up here. So if you get more revenue from existing customers, obviously you have more money to invest in getting new customers. That's kind of obvious. If we help you decrease costs with existing customers, you again have more profit to invest in getting new customers. If you get more revenue from new customers, you have more new customers, more existing customers to work on upselling and monetizing. And as you do that, you have more opportunities to get scale and decrease costs. I think you get kind of the idea. There's a lot of options and ways that these become flywheels, okay? If you help decrease costs with new customers, maybe you can offer products at a lower price, get a higher conversion rate, and therefore get more customers. And then because you have more customers at a higher profit margin, you're able to then reinvest and get more product R&D done to then get more money from your existing customers. It just becomes an infinite loop, and that's kind of the idea of the flywheel. Here's an example of one. We had a pharmacy that sold, or actually a supplement manufacturer that sold through pharmacies. And so what they did is they said, hey, I want to know which of my distributors would be good candidates to buy product A, who are buying product B already, but for whatever reason, they're not buying one of these products that usually go together. And so they pick a product to sell more of, and then they use the prompt to find through all of their data who they should sell it to, sell it more effectively with customization of timing in the pitch that the AI helps do. Because you have more sales and faster orders, you're able to bring profit forward. You're able to work on this sooner. You're able to be more efficient in how you buy and stock inventory and turn that inventory over. And then the rest of the flywheel continues. So that's kind of an idea of the profit prompt. Okay, so let's keep going. So we've got these 4 buckets. You get kind of the idea. And I pulled a couple ideas in here for things that we're doing. I'll just kind of reveal these one at a time. So in our new revenue bucket, here's a simple one, something that we're doing, which is like paid ads, AOV, and MRR decision. So we ran a prompt with a company that primarily sells a direct-to-consumer product via a subscription. And their debate was, look at the data and tell me when we send an ad where somebody can join the subscription and automatically subscribe versus a one-time sell and then trying to resell them, how does that turn into the higher average order value and what's its impact on MRR? And we were able to make that decision for them and help them understand that one time, but then they're able to start to look at, in individual cases, which one should we be routing to, and even start to look at things more dynamic than that. Like, should these customer cohorts automatically go to this offer or that offer? That's kind of a complicated one. A simpler one is Amazon ads, spend and budget optimization. You'd be shocked at how much money people were throwing away if you looked at the data behind a lot of Amazon ads accounts on out of stock products or bids and keywords that aren't converting. And so it kind of does both. It helps you spend more on what's working and cut the ones that are wasting money. Another one is customized outbound emails and prospect research. So everybody has some sort of a piece of the process. Who are my leads who have not been followed up with, or where can we add automation and customization? So that's kind of some directional examples. When we work with people through this in more detail, we obviously get into the nitty-gritty of their business, and by just asking the data, we get somewhere much faster. This is one of our best case studies and one of the coolest ones ever, and I call it the what about the baby prompt, or especially with the baby prompt. And we have a plumbing company as a client. They do plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. And they work off of a 4-day call board, meaning they're just looking at the next 4 business days and saying, for each of those 3 trades, how many appointments do we have booked, like paid appointments, calls, meaning like service calls. And so her whole job as a call center manager with multiple agents working with them and adding all kinds of AI and texting and automated follow-up and outbound, all the things, is still to constantly make the decision about who should we call to fill the board. So now she says, hey, what's the 4-day call board look like? It runs through every single appointment booked for the next 4 days, plugs it into a dashboard for her, and then she can ask questions about the dashboard. Questions like, hey, what's the projected value of the appointments? If we're oversubscribed for this day, are there any appointments we should reschedule? But her killer feature is she says, hey, it's looking light on Wednesday for plumbing, for example. Please go back to my entire customer database, look at all the transcripts of all the calls, all the orders, all the purchase history, service history, and everything, and predict for me who we should call in the areas our techs will already be to go and service those customers to have a chance at having a full calendar, having everybody at 100% utilization for that day in plumbing. And I think if you've done anything with a CRM or data science, you know that you could build a dashboard to help you get there. But you also know that you would never be able to do that once or twice or 3 times a day with any level of efficiency. Case in point, their call center was at about half capacity in terms of actually making calls because the reps were spending so much time clicking on records to get personalized information to decide who to call. I call it especially with the baby prompt, because in one of the examples, in fact, maybe I'll just show you. This is the kind of thing that gets output. So it's looking at electrical jobs. I'll pull up the artifact. So it looked at historical and then next 4 days reports. And because all the context is there, I was able to go in here and say, scheduled 8 jobs. I just selected this and I said improve or explain. And I asked like, who are they exactly and who's booked? And then it wasn't a high electrical season. So I went into HVAC and said, who do we have coming up for HVAC? Here's these appointments. Service 25 scheduled versus 20 average. We're 5 over scheduled. Replacement, we've got 1 versus 11 average or 10 under. Maintenance 18, install sales 3. Revenue is looking like way under based on what's scheduled. And I said, well, okay, we'll do the same thing you did for me here on this one. And it gave me back these customers to call. And let me go in here. So I call it especially with the baby because here. So told me the lifetime value of the customer, upstairs not cooling. Hey, Emily, this is Andrew from client name. I see you're having cooling issues upstairs. With this heat, that must be really uncomfortable, especially with the baby. And then it built a question and talked about solutions based on things that they know they would offer. So that's an example of a profit prompt. Now she's evolved this. She runs it on a regular basis with different lists and gets something every day that can help them to get more revenue from their existing customers and fill the call board. And you can take this to a natural extreme. If they look at that call board and they're light on plumbing, we then go to, okay, well, how much should the ad budget adjust up or down and make those recommendations for where to spend, how much to spend, completely based on all of the company's true, dynamically changing, dynamically refreshing sources of truth in their data. Let's look at maybe 1 or 2 more. RevOps follow-up, I'll gloss over some of these. Pharmacy attach rates, I think I talked about that a little bit earlier in this example, right? They were looking at, hey, which of our customers, our pharmacies, our distributors, haven't ordered the joint supplement in a while, for example, and they normally do. And then it was able to craft for them a custom email with their exact rates and say, hey, normally this is your pattern. Has something changed or whatever? We're about to place a new order. Let's make sure we get more in the door for you. Can I include you in this next order? Hugely, hugely effective. So I could go for a long time showing these to you, but I want to talk about what it's going to take for you to get this done and in your business. If that's got the wheels turning for you, let's talk about action and how we can make this real. So you've got to have 3 things. First, you have to have your data connected. So this is not as easy as it seems. This is kind of the hard part about making AI operationally profitable for you in your business right away. Now, there's a lot of great apps out there. I mean, people are building things on top of AI for very specific use cases all the time. And, you know, a great example one would be Descript for me. I use Descript when I edit a video or tweak something and it's automatically doing it. It's helping me do that. Great. That's awesome. There's lots of specific tools that can do things specifically for you. And a lot of businesses are buying those tools and using them and profiting from them. And that is fantastic. You should layer them all together. But there's just a bigger tapestry of data you have in your company. And so we first go look at what are all the sources of truth your data depends on. Almost everything you depend on, your CRM, ads, all kinds of tools that your business runs on, they're going to have some sort of AI flavor to it. But what they don't have, like what Chamath said, was the extra ingredient of a way to connect all of that data into one place and a semantic layer that's fancy, you know, nerd speak for something that basically says, when I say lead over here, it means deal over here. When I say this over there, it means that over here. These are related to map all that data so that the AI can know where to look and know what it's looking for and what it's called. So you need the data connected, the real live data from all the sources of truth, or as many of them as are relevant to make the decision necessary. The second thing you need is what to ask, right? Of course, I told you at the beginning of this video, we're going to look in these 4 areas as a general guide. But what to ask and how to prompt it, I think every one of us that's played with AI at all has had experiences where we see the dramatic difference in the results you get based on what you ask. And many, many business owners today don't know that you can just say, solve the problem. Tell me who to call and what to say for them and build me a dashboard. If you have the data connected, it can do that. And that's what's so crazy that people forget. so many business owners are so unaware of what's possible that they don't even think to ask their greatest. We throw these simple problems at it versus, hey, what would actually make me more money on a regular basis? It's cool to have something make you money once or save you money once, but what you really want, if it wouldn't that just be the dream come true if you could just type something in or have one of your team type something in for their job that just makes the business more money? You've got a superhuman, super intelligent thing that can be connected to every single person on your team that has all the human context of the business. If we just give it the data and help give them the right thing to ask, you have the opportunity to have every single person on your team and you as the leader and owner of the business exactly what you want to know to take the action that would make the money. So we've got to figure out what to ask. And then the third thing is you want to ask about something you can do something about. Predict the weather 3 years from now so I know how many whatever to buy. Probably not going to help you, right? But if you're a grocery store telling me the probable purchasing patterns of certain stores and I'm deciding how much of this to order or that to order, how much rice to order in October, given our current inventory level and our current pace and these 3 quotes that I have from suppliers, and you can do something about that, you can make a decision about it, that's really, really powerful. Who got partway through our funnel based on all the little lead records that no one's ever going to go click through in the CRM and you're not ever going to pay to build a report for that, but got to this point and we could just send this email at this time to people that watched 57% of the video but didn't click on the button and they have an iPhone. Whatever it is, you have the opportunity to then go take an action on that. And as we all know, once you can get the data and the ask automated, that's a possibility you can get to, you can then start to let the AI help you take the actions and be a human in the loop and observe it and decide what you want to do. So how could you get to this? Probably all sounds pretty complicated. How could you get there faster? Well, we made it easy to start finding with a $1,000 win, and it starts with syncing your data. So what we've spent the last 10 years doing is analytics for advertising. And as I've started to connect more and more businesses of different types that I never would have worked with are asking us to just sync all my data and let me talk to it with AI to work on the problems facing me in my business and make decisions and take actions that I might not normally make decisions and take actions on. And so step 1 is you've got to sync your data. Step 2, you've got to make it contextually mapped and you've got to map your business. So I guess here's where I should say, I have something to offer you. And what we're doing right now is called the Profit Prompt Challenge. There's a more short video about it on the webpage that I'll link to in here. And it talks about how we're helping people in a 5-day sprint go find their profit prompt. So we're going to sync your data and then we're going to help you map your business. Just understand everything in your business and what those data sources can tell you when combined. We're going to do part of that one-on-one and part of it in a group. So you'll be able to see prompts that other people are doing. And then we're going to try prompts in all 4 areas: new revenue, new customer cost reduction, existing customer new revenue, existing customer cost reduction. And we've got this all in a win your money back offer. So here's the basic idea. You come in, you sync your data, you have access to live syncing data for 14 days, but we have this 5-day sprint. So we're going to work with you really dedicated for a week. We keep the data live for you for 2 weeks just so you have time in case you miss something. And if you do a prompt every day for 5 days in a row with our guidance and try it a bunch, and we can come to the training and check-in calls, and if you find a prompt that can make you at least $1,000, ideally on a recurring basis, then you win. You win your money back. We are asking people to put some skin in the game and bet on themselves. But basically, if you succeed, I will give you your money back. Why would I do that? Well, I'm doing that because I bet if you find one of these, you're going to want it to work on an ongoing, repeatable basis, and you're going to want to keep syncing your data and keep finding more of these and keep automating more and work with us. And so, we will help. That will help us get you as a client and help us to keep going forward with you, and you'll want to keep working with us. The other reason I would do this is because it helps me to create more case studies for this whole funnel. So we're doing this for $1,000. This is for businesses that can sign up for something and try it with a crazy, unconditional, very strong guarantee at $1,000 without a sales call. all the sales calls and all the things are going to be based on your own data. If you want to learn more about it, click the link around or below this video and check out all the details and see when the next cohort is starting. And we'll go from there. Appreciate you.